if you're watching the broadcast, the taping rather, then what you see is me now just chilling out. I gave it a little extra time because what you'll see in the description about how this is going to be a new avenue that I'm getting ready to take. But yeah, read that description if you're watching the broadcast rather than being on it live. I will probably still just mention it at the beginning when people start coming on, but that's why I'm giving it a little extra time to build the audience, since I had originally told people that I wasn't going to be doing Facebook Live. Hey, somebody's on there. So, hey, what's up, Sonny? Hey, good to see you. Yeah, and keep your reminders coming. It's always going to work out. Thank you. Thank you. Love you too. Yeah, we got 3 minutes. Well, we got less than 3 minutes to go to start this. Actually, it's kind of like my final Wednesday taping of Facebook Live. And actually now, you see, sometimes you have to hear what you say. It's my final taping of live of Glue Wednesday on Wednesday. Okay. Hey, Sharon. And hey, what's up, Mo Cheeks? Yeah, so yeah, we got less than 2 minutes, and then I'm going to start. But again, read what's there in the description, pointing in the description of this taping, because what it is going to be, I'm using a network company right now, and they're giving it a nice, more professional and polished look that I can use to do more marketing and build a business. So that's why last week I hadn't done a Glue Wednesday on Facebook Live, but then in talking with them, they said, no, you can keep doing it. It's just going to get you a different audience. So that's what they're going to be doing for me. So thank you for coming on. I appreciate those thumbs up. And we got less than 2 minutes to go. Hey, Kat. Hey, Gianluca. Did I say that right? Okay, good seeing you. And but what I'm going to, and I got less than a minute to go. What I'm going to be doing today is showing you actually how I've started to redo my Glue Wednesday broadcast. Hey, Renee, what's up, homegirl? I'm showing you how I redo my Glue Wednesday broadcast, because I'm now using a professional network broadcasting company, and we do taping on Monday nights. And then so you'll end up seeing this same broadcast with a little twist difference in what I say. Love you too, fam. And you'll see this still on my site. So please check it out when you see the broadcast, both on the Facebook Live as well as on the, it's going to be coming from the Wake Up Call networking group, Wake Up Call Network radio broadcast group. All right. But anyway, welcome to Glue Wednesday. So often people use the cliche hump day as their description of Wednesday's value to the week. Well, one, I think that hump has the connotation of the need to get over. And two, Wednesday is not necessarily the middle of the work week for everybody. While it is the middle of the 7-day week cycle that brings the start of the week and the weekend together. So that's why I like to say we have to recognize that it's not about us needing to get over, but the fact that what we need to do is find ways to keep it together. And that's why I call my session Glue Wednesday. And my glue is G-L-U-E. God's love undoes everything. Because see, that's what helps me keep it together. And I'm sure, hope that's what helps you keep it together. Because it's not saying that God's love undoes everything. It says that anything that is going bad for you in a direction you don't want to go, it will undo that and pull it together. So what I do on this segment is I reinforce the lesson that life is about going from one puzzle to the next. You're either a small, medium, or large piece of the puzzle in each of your family, social, or business interactions. Yet no matter what size piece of the puzzle you see yourself as, without you, that puzzle is called incomplete. I'm Sporty King, and this is Glue Wednesday. Welcome. Today, my focus is going to be on thanks. Now, I see some other people, and I can give y'all shout outs today, but let me tell y'all, on Monday, I'm going to be going in a new direction. I'll be doing Glue Wednesday on Monday night, where I tape it, and then they professionally load it up for me, right? So I'll be giving out, so I'll be doing that on Monday night. That's when I can do the shout outs, but today I'm not going to do them. I'm just going to show you how I do put this whole message together. It's the bomb, y'all. Here we go. So anyway, today my focus is going to be on thanks. THANKS. The heart always needs kindred spirits. THANKS. The heart always needs kindred spirits. You see, people love the cliche, opposites attract. And then they miss the more powerful truth that like attracts like. Just as iron sharpens iron, and awesome buff shines awesome. So when someone says you're awesome, if they're the right person, then that buff shine that'll make you even more awesome. Keeping it together, as on Glue Wednesday, is about surrounding yourself with the right people. And isn't it funny how everybody knows that clause, where they say you have to surround yourself with the right people, yet many still wonder why they have so many negative people around them. It's because we sometimes lose sight of the fact that we need to live on offense, while a lot of people are living on defense, looking to be accepted rather than continuing to be exceptional. Wondering if somebody likes their hairstyle, wondering if somebody else approves of the way they dress, wonder if someone is okay with the way they talk or walk or who they're hanging out with. That's living on defense. If we take it to an interview situation, like say you go in on an interview, a lot of times we interview on defense, right? And we go in there, oh, I hope my hair looks okay. I hope this outfit is good. I hope they like my resume. But think about it. Those of you, if you're watching this, let me ask you this. How many of you have an identical twin? Think about that. And how many of you know identical twins? Okay, here's the reason I ask that. Because there's another cliche that we use, and where someone says, look, there's nobody else like you. We don't always believe that cliche. But I want you to start using that cliche in your mind when it's time for you to interview, or when you're sending somebody out for an interview, to remind them that there is nobody else like them. So when they go to the interview, they need to be on offense, not on defense, because the truth of the matter is that that company doesn't have anybody like them working there. See, the reason I asked you about the identical twin is because an identical twin is as close as you come to having somebody else just like you. And the reason I say if you know any identical twins, because even if you do, isn't there something that you can tell to tell them apart? So there really is nobody else like you, but the twins and the triplets are as close as they come. So when you interview on offense. When you go to the interview, the score is 1-0 because you've got you, and they don't have anybody like you at that company. Remember, a job is renting your time. That's what a paycheck is. It's rent for use of your talents and skills, of your person. But you have to have you 100%, and you can't pay you to be who you are. And in the long run, neither can they. They can only pay you a portion of what they use you for. And we're not talking about use being bad. Remember Bill Withers, use me until you use me up? Okay, so the key is that we want to be used but not abused. Check your vocabulary. Your vocabulary is so important, y'all. That's why you got to listen closely to what people say, not just the politicians, but especially them. But listen to what the people around you are saying, because when people say stuff to you, they take a couple of words out and they twist the words on you, and then when you come back, wait, you said this, you say, no, I said that, and this is what I meant. So you want to be real conscious and listen, which is the #1 communication skill. Listen to what people are saying to you and make sure that you understand it. So getting back to my message, believe in that cliche that there's no one else like you. One of the things that I used to do when I used to teach a life skills class and interview skills, I used to have an exercise. In the first class, what they had to do, we went around the room. They had to give their full name, favorite color, and why they liked that color. In the second week of the class, it was a 4-day class, in the second week, I would have them give their full name, their favorite commercial, and why they liked that commercial. Here's why I did that. You see, I did that. I didn't really care what they said. The truth is, I had created what was called a tone check. Your communication is 55% how you look, 38% how you sound, just 7% what you say. So your tone is really important. So when you go on an interview, you want to have the tone of confidence. So by my having people say their name, their favorite color or their favorite commercial, and why they like that color or commercial, that had them saying something in a tone of positivity where they know that they can't be questioned. They can't be wrong. You can't tell me my name is not sporty. You can't tell me my favorite color is not blue. And that because I like the Dallas Cowboys and I've been a Cowboy fan for 58 years. See, you can't tell me that that's not true. So when I answer that question, I answer it with a tone of positivity, not worried about whether or not you're going to accept my answer. Likewise, the second reason I use the second week, I have them use their favorite commercial, because when you think about your favorite commercial, what do? As you start talking about why it's your favorite commercial, you smile. And so now you get a chance to practice and know how you feel when you're giving an answer that can't be questioned and you're smiling. And so you're on offense, not on defense, worrying about being accepted. So now when they ask you the question, the interview question of, tell me about yourself, tell me about your strengths, you can hear yourself giving that positive tone, because you can't say, well, I'm really an outgoing person. No, you hear that tone is not right. I'm really an outgoing person. And so that's what you want to do. The reason I have them also give the full name, the color, the commercial, and why they like it, because now, when I was doing this class, by the way, it was to teenagers mostly, or people in their 20s or 30s who have been, were out of the job market. Well, what do you want to do in an interview? You want to get in the habit of answering questions in full sentences. That's one of the things when I know we want to spend a lot of time beating down kids about communication, but technology has moved us into a world of shortened sentences and shortcuts. So you want to get in the habit of answering in full sentences, and you want to use your full name. I can't say, yeah, I'm Sporty. There's another Sporty. So I have to say Sporty King. And likewise, you have to introduce yourself by your full name. That's really enough. That's really what communication is all about. So those were the exercises that I used at. Let me tell you something that happened that was wonderful about this exercise and when I do this class. After doing that class, what I would also say to them is when we go around the room and introduce yourself, if you don't want to participate, you have to say, skip me. Okay, yeah, I gave them that option. I said, if you don't want to participate, then you have to say skip me. You can't say pass or I don't want to do it. You have to say those two words, skip me. Now, here's why I did that. And I told them this after the exercise was over. Remember, some of us are old school, okay? Remember when we were young and coming up, and even though, what is the age where you're allowed to curse? But remember when we say you're not old enough to curse? Well, remember when we were old enough to say, we would replace cursing. We would say, well, skip you or forget you. We couldn't say F you, right? But we could say forget you and get away with it. And where I grew up, we could say, oh, skip you. So I explained that to them. And I told them that's why I had them say, when they didn't want to participate, they had to say skip me. And if you think about what they were replacing, as they thought about what they were replacing that with, I said, think about it. If you would be willing to skip you, why shouldn't somebody else be willing to skip you? You see how that goes? And so even if you're not cursing, just even if you're using the word skip me, think about it. When you get a chance to make a stand and you're going to allow yourself to be skipped, yesterday was the voting. You see, did you vote or did you get skipped? So if you skip voting, then guess what? You have to skip having an opinion about what the elected officials do. That's really just how it comes out. And that ain't even negative, by the way. If you choose, you just, hey, I'm not a voter. Okay, that's okay. I'm not judging you. I didn't always vote. I don't know what age I became more involved with the political system, but everybody's different, y'all. But again, once you don't vote, then guess what? You voted to not complain. Because your vote didn't get miscounted, so it just doesn't count, and that's okay. And I tell people all the time, I say, look, when I say, how you going? How's it going? They say, well, I can't complain. I say, good, because I really don't want to hear your complaint. I'm not really licensed to listen to it. But that's the key, if you're gonna complain, then if life is fine, don't complain. Let me get back to my notes, okay? the key is because I wanted to tell you, after I told the group about the skip me thing, one of the kids came up to me after. He said, look, Mr. Sporty, I didn't really want to be skipped, but the reason I didn't participate is because I stutter. And I'm a little embarrassed about how I stutter. And I looked and I said, wow. I said, I didn't catch a stutter. I mean, the class was like 3 hours long, and I did more exercise than that. And I never heard him stutter. I said, I didn't hear you stutter, And I said, look, I tell you what, don't worry about that. That's why if you just read it, and you're going to be all right. Let me tell you, it was an 8-week class. I never heard that kid stutter. The key is, what happened was, I let him know that it was okay, even if he did stutter, because he had told himself that he stuttered and that he was embarrassed. And so once I told him that it's okay if you stutter, that took away that embarrassment from him, and he relaxed, and he never stuttered the whole class. A more important point, we spend a lot of time talking about who doesn't want to get their lives together, and not enough time investing in those who do. See, this kid, he was so glad that I took that weight off his shoulder, that that I was trying to, what I call, catch him doing something right instead of trying to catch him doing something wrong. And therefore, we kept in touch. He ended up getting jobs, and he showed me when he got promotions. We kept in touch for a little while. I wonder where he is now. He might still be in touch, But, that's the beauty of it all, is try not to judge people so much. And one of my prayers is that I can become less judgmental, because I know I'll never make it to be a non-judgmental. We do judge. You really can't say, oh, no, I don't judge people. Sure you do. Don't we like that cliche? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's judgmental. Because once someone does something to you, the next time you see somebody who looks like that person or reminds you of that person or situation, your guard goes up. That's being judgmental. You're saying, oh, no, I'm not going to let this happen again. That's fool me twice, shame on me. See, in other words, I'm going to protect myself. So, like I said, I just pray that I could be less judgmental. And what I know that I do in my life is that when I see that type of person or that situation, my guard does go up, but I'm also conscious of saying, yeah, but this is not necessarily that person or that situation. Let me see how it goes and be willing to go around it and not penalize this person because of how they look and who they remind me of. So, that's what you want to do. Just think about it, okay? So invest your time in people, especially in our young people, especially in the people that you decide that you want to talk against them. Invest your time in them and see what happens. And another wonderful thing that I got out of that interaction with that kid, that he was proud. See, he was proud. He didn't want to say skip me. He was proud. So let me tell you my acronym for pride, Pride. And actually what I've done is I've spelled it. I've used the acronym backwards. I use a reverse acronym. I think pride is EDIRP. The essentials of pride, the essentials equal discipline, intuition, recognition, and prayer. EDIRP, pride spelled backwards. Essentials equal discipline, intuition, recognition, and prayer. You see, sometimes walking backwards refreshes our perception of what we really need. And what we really need to do is know there's a difference between want and need. My mother used to always say, the only thing you need to do is stay black and die. So you have to know the difference between want and need, and the difference is something that only you can measure in your life. And here's how the network broadcasting company that I told you that I'm using now for Glue Wednesday. See, I'm going to tell you about how I show how they help you measure up to your pride. I'm proud to be one of the new pieces of the puzzle on this network. It's called the Wake Up Call Network. But what I did is I took my acronym PROUD and I attached it to 5 of the shows that I broadcast with on Monday nights. And so let me introduce you to them. And again, I hope you'll get a chance to support them and see some of the shows and see if any of them are worthwhile for you. The E, Essentials. We have a show called Multiple Intelligence, hosted by a woman named Rochelle Gray. What that show does, the essentials, it talks about how important it is and how much further you will go when you understand your genius. She said there are 9 geniuses that we all have. And when you understand what your genius is, you go further. You get the essentials. And what she's also done is create an offshoot where once a month she'll feature a young guy named Jaden Davis, a teenager, and he'll do a show called Youth Speaks. So those are the essentials. The D is in Pride is for discipline. We have a show called Enlightenment by a woman named Doc Honeycutt. And Doc short for doctor, Doc Honeycutt. What it does is it reminds you that it takes more than a paper plan to become who you want to be and control your lifestyle and your choices. So that's Enlightenment with Doc Honeycutt. The I is for intuition. And there's a show called Through the Storm, hosted by Chantel Davis Johnson. I like to call the show Love the Storm instead of Through the Storm, where you learn to trust your instincts, your intuition, and remind yourself that you don't have to do it alone and you can't. That's the I, intuition. And then the R, recognition. Encouraging Words is the name of that show. It's hosted by Jamila Freelane. And what she says is to remind that you deserve a good education. Recognize you deserve a good education as well as the tools to paint the picture of who you want to be. And then finally, the P in Pride is for prayer. There's a show called Shaking the Gates with Minister Jennifer Davis. And what she says is to remind you, pray in faith. That's actually my saying. It's pray in faith, not fear, for the smooth landing that can only come from the bumpy ride of joy. But I wanted to do that to introduce you to the network. Take the word pride and just spell it backwards. The essentials of pride are discipline, intuition, recognition, and prayer. And you can get that all on the Wake Up Call Network. I feel like such a commercial, right? Very cool. All right. But keeping in theme, back to my theme on thanks. In 1997, I chose to spend my Thanksgiving helping to feed the homeless during the first year's opening of and it was at the James Jordan Boys and Girls Club in Chicago. The person who was supposed to give the invocation wasn't able to make it, and I had started writing this poem. So they asked me, did I want to do the invocation, and I said yes. And I decided to, I had started this poem, and I decided to finish the poem and use it as the invocation. So here we are as we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. So this poem is called Thanks Living. And they read it as an invocation at a homeless shelter, feeding the homeless, rather. So often, our thanks drifts toward dreams and hopes and wishes and wants. And so often, we look past the beauty and gift of now. For as we point to our village for future leaders, we sometimes look beyond the reality of the fact that cultivation begins in the present. Blindly, we chastise every moment we make. Blindly, we chastise every move we make, question our reason for being, doubt our faith in God. We show ourselves as role models of failure rather than the masters of persistence and perseverance we are, where we should be encouraging our children to step up to success. Understand that God gives us children to stretch our learning capacity. Pray that they go beyond you rather than hope they get as far. Have you not taken your true father's hand? And as you listen to what you say, hear how you sound. Is yours the voice of defeat, shame, forgetfulness? Oh, have you forgotten the blessing of each day on this side of the ground? Can you see your hand? Thank you, Father. Can you touch your ear? Thank you, Father. Can you hear your voice? Thank you, Father. Can you say, hurry up, Sporty, this food smells good? Thank you, Father. Can you breathe in the blessing of this meal? Thank you, Father. For just as there is a time where we are all one step away from homelessness, there is also a time where we must all believe that we are one step away from living true thanks. And all the people say, amen. This year, as you go around the Thanksgiving table, name something that you hadn't expected to happen in your favor. Then give thanks for the blessing to share that gift as a moment of joy. That's Thanksgiving. Speaking of sharing and enjoying, this final poem I'm going to read was inspired by the movie The Preacher's Wife. You remember that? Starring Whitney Houston, Courtney Vance, and me, as played by Denzel Washington. The movie is about a preacher, Henry, who's lost his faith And in the process, he's about to lose everything that he loves and everyone who's important to him. Yet he sits down and asks God for help. However, when the help came, he didn't recognize the angel that God had sent. If you saw the movie, like I said, the poem I'm going to read it to you was inspired by the movie. So as I was preparing for this session, I went back and watched the movie because I really wanted to see why I was inspired to write the poem the way I did. And when I saw it, when I watched the movie, I really got why I was inspired to watch it. Because the thing is, one of the lines is in the poem. It says, "You won't recognize the angel. His language will be too frank." And so that's what happened when Denzel came down and he introduced himself to Henry. He said, he was really crystal clear. He said, "Hi, my name is Dudley. I'm here to answer to your request." And Henry said, "What request?" "My request." And then Dudley said, "Well, the angel said for help." So the preacher said, "Well, who sent you?" And then Denzel said, "The top man himself, capital H-E, sent me." And so the preacher's like, "Yeah, look, I don't have time for this. I'm dealing with my own stress." And he walked away. He left Denzel. So Denzel said, "Well, maybe I didn't approach him right." All right. Later on in the movie, not much further on, it's a cold night, and his car won't start. The preacher's car won't start, and then bam, Denzel appears, makes the car start, and then so again the preacher said, "Look, who are you?" And Denzel said, "Okay, I'm going to tell you, but you're not going to believe me." He said point blank, he said, "I'm an angel, like in the Bible." And so the preacher said, "Oh yeah, and then the preacher got sarcastic. "Oh yeah, right, Dudley the angel. Yeah, I read all about you." So he's joking. So they go on in conversation, and it's a cold night, so he invites Denzel to get in the car, and he'll drop him where he wants to go. And as they're driving along, Denzel is telling him all about how wonderful it is to be an angel and how they're up in heaven waiting on line so they can get sent down to earth to help the person who they're the angel for. And like I said, he's really being crystal clear about the fact that he's an angel. And all of the preacher who we are supposed to be going to church to get the word from, y'all know I always say, choose your messengers carefully. So he's still not believing Denzel, but when he drops him where he needs to go and he shakes Denzel's hand as Denzel says goodnight, you can see he feels something. And you'll see that throughout the movie. Every time Denzel shakes somebody's hand, they got the music, because they get that heavenly feeling, okay? So that's the key. When he says to Denzel, but you're lying, Denzel, "Oh, no, I'm not lying. I'm an angel. We're not allowed to lie. It's right here in the angel handbook." And so he drops him off, and then as Dudley the angel is thinking about it, he says, "You know what, Henry is so busy taking all of the weight of the congregation that he's lost sight of taking care of himself. Have you done that? So busy taking care of other people that you lose sight of the need to take care of yourself." So Henry was doing that in terms of his congregation, which was a byproduct of not taking care of his family. Even he'll end up saying to Denzel later, because Denzel forms a great relationship with Whitney, with the preacher's wife, and so the preacher says, "I've seen the way she looks at you." See, he's so caught up in jealousy that he doesn't see why she's looking at Dudley like that. In other words, he doesn't allow himself to recognize God. So he doesn't understand that his wife, and she doesn't know it either, but she's looking at Dudley, and she's not looking at him as, "Ooh, I want him to replace my husband." She's got this great feeling, and that's the feeling that you get. That's the love that you get from God. So he was too busy forgetting. He didn't allow himself to recognize God because he was too busy forgetting or not trusting the calling that God had put on his life. And that is to see past man's shell and into his spirit. Have you been doing that? Have you been looking at people's shell instead of looking into their spirit? So, of course, the spoiler alert is, if you haven't seen it, and if you haven't, where have you been? Because it's a 2006 movie. The spoiler alert is the angel does get them, to see one another differently and have a happy ending. So here's that poem, and it's called "Giving Thanks." You won't recognize the angel. His language will be too frank. When you really get God's help, you won't know who you should thank. So make your decision to give thanks now. Keep him worthy of your praise. Don't try to figure out his motives, for ours are not his ways. Have you wondered how you sounded asking for while wasting life? Or have you simply taken for granted that you can do as you please and not suffer consequence until you get tired and decide to seek his help by reflex, call out his name by habit, question your penance? Have you lost your place on the implementation crew, forgetting that only he is on the planning committee, and blinded yourself with jealousy and selfishness? Oh, my brethren, I beg that you do not surround yourself with the worldly misgivings and shortcomings that hoist you atop a throne that can no longer touch the hearts that call for your guidance. So you won't recognize the angel, nor his concern for your health. When you really want God's help, let that angel be yourself. So that's what giving thanks is all about. You have to recognize that you have to be your angel. You know, what are you saying to yourself? You have to be your number one angel. And my acronym for angel, ANGEL. Okay? Oops, I'm going too fast. That's okay. It's your number one advocate, nurturer, gift to yourself, encourager, and light yourself. You have to be your number one angel. And in the poem, you heard me mention what I call the implementation crew. And so that takes me to a book that I wrote called Starting Today. And Starting Today, you know, I used to be on TV. I was on Minority Business Report, giving a monthly inspirational message. And I had a segment called Starting Today. So I took the first 79 inspirations and put them in a book. And here's one of them. And here's one of them that I use. It's called the Implementation Crew. You see, so often we complain about the week from hell, where we got nothing done because of problems, trials, and tribulations. How about the week from heaven, where so many blessings showered down that we didn't get to do all we had planned? I wish you a week from heaven, where nothing goes according to your plan, but everything according to the Master's plan. So what happens with the book, I want to show you how to use it, is that it's written kind of like a journal, where you'd read the inspiration, and if you were so moved by it, you say, you know what, I hadn't thought about that. So down here, you can write, you know what, starting today, I'm going to do this. Because isn't that how we do with goals? You know, starting today or starting tomorrow, I'm going to do this. So as you write what you're going to do now that you've been inspired, guess what you end up doing? You end up putting, because there's 79 inspirations, you write 79 inspirations. You can now have a book of positive affirmations because you've just got 79. So you could be writing your first book. See, that's the thing about being an entrepreneur. We have to pass the entrepreneurial spirit on. There's nothing wrong with things, you know, not being the way, you know, nothing new on this earth. There's nothing new. We have to recycle, and as entrepreneurs, you have to keep recycling. You may have an entrepreneurial spirit and not even recognize it. In fact, when we were doing the taping, one of the guests on one of the show, Donna Lee Reed, she said, entrepreneur, sometimes we have to recognize that we can replace the word entrepreneur with enterprise, because we are enterprising spirits and individuals. So sometimes pass that entrepreneurial spirit on, and with Starting Today, that's what you'll be able to do, is create your first product. So, you know, and then realizing my books that I mentioned, I call them retention materials. All my retention materials are located on my website at www.sportyking.com. And guess what? Each purchase comes with a free autograph, and as well as personalized to how you want them. So please, it's a wonderfully interactive site. You don't have to go on there and buy anything. Just go on and enjoy. I've got some inspirational quotes that I use on the memes that we use that you can download and share. And that is what I'd like you to do, is we share. So let's recap today's message. First of all, the message today was thanks. THANKS. The heart always needs kindred spirits. It's about you and the choices you make in selecting your village, because like attracts like. People are drawn to you because there's no one else like you, especially when you're living on offense. No matter how you live, give. Give of your life, your love, and your laughter. And let me add another thanks, THANKS. Trust him always. Never no shame. THANKS. Trust him always. Never no shame. What could be more giving? You don't have to be ashamed of who you are, and that's something to be thankful for. We all have a rightful seat on the implementation crew. Pay attention so you can know when it's time to act how. And finally, you won't recognize the angel. His language will be too frank. When you really want God's help, you won't know who you should thank. No, you won't. When you really get God's help, you won't know who you should thank. Let that angel be yourself. It's so important for us to, again, recognize the whole premise of Blue Wednesday. It's about the fact that life is about going from one puzzle to the next. You're either a small, medium, or large piece in each puzzle. Yet no matter what size piece of the puzzle you see yourself as, without you, that puzzle is called incomplete. Have a safe and savvy week. I'm Sporty King. This is Blue Wednesday, and let's continue to do it. Please, on Monday, again, like I said, on Monday, I'll start doing my broadcast and tape at the same time. I'll do Facebook Live while I'm taping the show. Please go to the Wake Up Call Network, see how they're doing, support them, especially go to their YouTube channel and share that message as well, because I'm on there and that can be helpful to me. This will be my last time doing Glue Wednesday as a Facebook Live broadcast on Wednesday. So that I'll do it on Monday and acting like it's Wednesday. But thank all of y'all for coming on. And, my last shout outs to you for doing on the show. Hey, Renee, peace to you too. Hey, Cellophane, as we call Marcelo, the block we had to have Nick's name. Sean, good to see you. Good to see you. We got Johnny. Hey, Johnny, thank you. Thank you for going acronyms the other day. He gave me a great acronym for failure. I'm going to have to post it on there, but this guy, Johnny Anthony, is one of our soldiers, one of our service members who enjoyed my session when I did a Yellow Ribbon program with them, and he came up with a great acronym for failure, and I told him that I'm going to use it, and I'm going to give him credit for it, so I'll use it here for the first time when I post to this post, okay? So good one. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Christopher Metz. Hey, what's up, Chris? Is that Clemson? Christopher, you were Clemson. I hope I didn't put you on the right tip, but it seemed to me like I'm remembering you with all your orange. Hey, Jackie, yeah, Grant, all the way, coming down to the second floor with you. Was it 2 or was it 3, Jackie? Okay, Tramel, fantasy football, and Sonia, my instant message lady. Hey, what's up, Rocky? Good to see you. What's up, Gail? Granny Gail, Auntie Gail, my Italian sister, Joanne here in the CLT. Gene Butler, man, good to see you back. Hope all is on in Chicago. And say hi to the family for my Spurs fan, Kenneth. There we go. Liddell, man, hey, good to see you, Mr. Wytech. And Kelly, yeah, get your tangos going. See, y'all think I don't be remembering some of this stuff. Yeah, okay. Becky, my B lady, good to see you. Hey, Doreen, welcome back from Dubai. And I already hit all of y'all who were on earlier, Mo Cheeks, Renee, Carol. Okay, look, love all of y'all. Thank y'all for keeping my spirit going. And I will always continue to try to keep yours. So again, God bless you. Have a safe and savvy week. And I will see you again on Blue Wednesday. Keeping it together. Ciao.